Heads up, 7-Up, motherfucker.
Alright guys, how's it going? Oh, well, the other YouTubers are guilty for this too. I mean, there's a lot of us YouTubers that do need to realize that this is a video and not a live stream. That's right. Yeah, let's all come to that realization, YouTubers. So yeah, now a lot of you guys have noticed that I seem to be up all night. Yes, I have been up all night, and second time in a row. I have slept during the day through these 2 times in a row, okay? And what happened here is No Man's Sky, and before you jump in and say, No Man's Sky out of all games? Well, No Man's Sky out of all games indeed, because of that update, which I will get to later. Now, this is going to be a news video, and it's going to be covering 2 things. So, I'll be covering on that No Man's Sky update later in the video. But right now, I have one topic to focus on. Alright, so what's the first thing that we're going to cover on? Well, it has something to do with Fate Grand Order. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've already figured out what happened because you looked into my Twitter thing, the situation that we got going on here is that summer event happened. That summer event that I have been saving up my Saint Quartz, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, it happened, which means Tamamo no Waifu Swimsuit Lancer, ladies and gentlemen. I have been hyping. I have been building up the hype for this thing. I have been getting the hype going and going with the hype, man. Basically, what's going on in Fate Grand Order is that there's this event going down called the Chaldea Summer Memories event. And however, it started at the 26th of July and will end on the 14th of August. Now, with that said, what is it? What is it? Now, this is a summer event, so there's going to be some event-exclusive stuff going down, like some event-exclusive servants. However, here's the catch. They're swimsuit versions of the female servants, however, their classes become very different. Like, say, for example, you have Skathatch, hopefully I didn't screw up her name. Instead of being a Lancer, she is now an Assassin. And then you have Kiyohime, instead of being a Berserker, she's a Lancer. And Tamamo no Mai, instead of being a caster, she is a Swimsuit Lancer. So, of course, you have Skathatch Swimsuit Assassin, Kiyohime Swimsuit Lancer, and Tamamo no Waifu Swimsuit Lancer. So, that's basically the catch of it. And however, what happens here is that it has a campaign of its own where you can work towards kind of like picking who's your, picking who you want to gain favorability of. So, something along the lines of that next. So, yeah, that's basically the summer event for you, and like I said, it's going to end on the 14th of August, so you might want to hurry up if you want that lovely Swimsuit Lancer Tamamo no Waifu. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking, did I achieve it? Did I do it? Well, I did save up a ton of Saint Quartz. I think I saved up like about around 500 Saint Quartz. Farmed up some summon tickets. Never used any summon tickets, speaking of. I farmed up EXP cards and have a lot of them to save on the side for her. And then when the summer event happened, and the next minute I went there, I went in and go straight to the motherfucking gacha. And I used up the Saint Quartz that I have. And, yeah, I have about, like, Saint Quartz remaining, like, let's just say around, like, 300 if I remember correctly. And then there's, like, 3 additional because I played through that, event campaign. So, yeah, there's that. And, yeah, a lot of you guys have been wondering, did I get her? Did I get her? Did I get her? I did it. I achieved it. and I used up all the EXP cards that I have saved up for her, and I managed to get a hold of the Ascension equipment. I took advantage of the summer event and did some additional stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, may I reveal to you. Alright guys, now that you've asked that question, asked that question, you know what, fuck this. Now that you guys asked, yes, I have achieved it. And ladies and gentlemen, I've managed to not only get her shirt taken off, but I managed to go into the summer event, did some farming there, and I have managed to gather up the resources to not only take off Tamamo no Waifu's shirt off, but I've managed to have her go out for a drink with me. That's right. I have the honors of going out for a drink with Tamamo no Waifu under her umbrella. Okay, so yeah, that's enough with my stories, because I've already got what I wanted. I already got my happy ending in Fate Grand Order, and my happy ending that I want is to get Tamamo no Waifu Swimsuit Lancer, and I have achieved my golden treasure, and that's it for me. That's my happy ending to the story. And now I'm free to basically wander the lands of Grand Order as much as I damn well please. However, yes, that's, like I said, the Fate Grand Order summer event going on right now lasts right where it started on July 26th and will end on the 14th of August. So hurry your butt up if you want that Tamamo no Waifu Swimsuit Lancer, or if you have been already playing on that event and are fighting, keep going with that good fight and keep on going. You can do it. We can do it, guys. Remember No Man's Sky? Yeah, that's going to be our next news story, ladies and gentlemen. Now, No Man's Sky, it was that game that was revealed back at, like, the Video Game Awards of 2013. And when I looked at it myself, I was like, oh wow, I'm intrigued, color me impressed, I want to jump in on this. And there has been a lot of people that have been excited, and they've become overly excited, which is understandable because people have been wanting a space video game where people can basically land on planets and basically go to outer space and then have some fun. And it was basically what No Man's Sky was promising throughout the trailers. It's like, there's been people saying, oh, multiplayer is happening, people over at Hello Games. Alright, I structured that sentence very poorly. So there were people at Hello Games stating, hey, we're gonna get multiplayer, guys, we're gonna get multiplayer, guys. And when you look into the trailers, you get to explore planets. Not only that, but when you board your little starship, you fly up onto outer space, and you can basically just travel from planets, either that or basically engage into ship-on-ship combat. And basically, you get these huge ships coming out of nowhere. And then, however, when we heard the game, oh, it's gone gold, guys. Okay, and then when we saw No Man's Sky, like, hit up on release day, next thing you know, boom. There was a lot of things missing. As a matter of fact, there was a Reddit post that had a list of things that were missing in the final product of No Man's Sky. And that list ended up becoming huge. Now, that list did disappear, which is kind of strange. Now, however, you fast forward to 2018, and there is an update called No Man's Sky Next. And what is No Man's Sky Next? It is the update that goes on all versions of No Man's Sky that not only turns No Man's Sky from this disappointment into the game that we've been looking forward to, into more of the game we've been looking forward to, into more of the game we've been seeing in the trailers, into more of the game that we're seeing all this. And really, to see all this happen, it's great to see great redemption stories like this. I'm glad to see that Hello Games got themselves together they recuperated and they managed to take No Man's Sky, and then they fixed it, and then they came out with this huge update, and now when the updates keep hitting into it, next thing you know, No Man's Sky is now better than ever, and it is fantastic. And what's really absolutely fantastic about that is that the very minute the next update hit up on the month of, well, it was like at the end of July, when it hit up, there was Steam reviews that were getting mostly positive a lot of the time. There was way more mostly positive. There was more positive Steam reviews than negative Steam reviews. And it gained from mostly negative down to mixed. And yeah, and Sean Murray celebrated that on Twitter. And in case you don't know who Sean Murray is the guy over at Hello Games and one of the top dogs who was working on No Man's Sky. So yeah, so when that update came out, everybody was happy with No Man's Sky. And really, it's really a good thing, because there's a lot of people who ended up getting bummed out. They wanted to have a game where they can just explore space, communicate with people in space, go through other ships in space, and do space stations in space. And it's like this grand space adventure games where you can go planet from planet and go from, or when instead of going from planet to planet, you can instead just have the option to go into space and do all this fun stuff. And really, to have that game around, it would be perfect. It would be wonderful. I've been itching for that kind of game too. And when we see games like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, I'm sitting around, I mean, we're all sitting around here like, oh my goodness, what do we do? It's just, and then now that we see No Man's Sky, just now the game that we've been seeing in the trailers, it's great to see No Man's Sky get itself together and pull itself together. Alright, when I ended up hearing about No Man's Sky and how it got that next update, and then the next thing you know, everybody is happier with No Man's Sky, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm very curious about that. So I managed to jump in onto the No Man's Sky bandwagon. And then the next thing you know, I ended up getting the PlayStation 4 of it, because the PlayStation 4 version was cheaper, because there was a celebration discount going on where people get it 50% off. And then the next thing you know, if you're a PlayStation Plus user, you get 55% off. So I took advantage of the 55% off and got the PlayStation 4 version. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this straight up. I've played it and it felt fantastic. It was wonderful. I got hooked onto that game. And I ended up staying like 2 nights in a row. Like 2 straight nights in a row, because I would get way too carried off with this game. And I was like, dang, I am having a blast. Now, is it perfect? No. Now, I'm going to say this, there are performance hiccups, and there are game crashes. Now, as for the performance hiccups, the very minute something weird and funky starts happening, I've managed to recently end up, like, mitigating that issue by basically kind of like loading my save file. And when I loaded my save file, here's the thing, I would save the game, and the next thing you know, I did that little experiment. So I saved the game, and the next thing you know, I resetted my game. Well, I didn't have to reset my game. I had to basically just load my save that I made recently, and the very minute I made the load, everything went back to normal. So there was a workaround to it, and there was a way to get it back to normal. So that's something. As for the crashes, when it came to the game crashes, I have gotten them, but however, not a lot to a point where I get frustrated. Now, now I do get the crashes kind of more, but however, it's more in the lines of they're still just isolated cases in the end, and that's basically what it is. It's just like the performance hiccup, they're like isolated cases, and they're like, when it comes to the performance hiccups, there's like isolated cases to where I can just easily fix this by just basically resetting the game, or kind of like loading the save that I made recently, and then everything goes back to normal. And then also, as for the crashes, they're kind of like still isolated cases in the end. Now, I have not had my play experiences end in crashes from left and right, so that is a good thing to think about this. So there will be game crashes. There will be game crashes, but you won't get to a point where you get ticked off and frustrated. And what makes up for these game crashes is that you have restore points that get created every time you leave your ship, every time you save on something, every time you leave your ship or you save something. And or when something happens and you get hit with an autosave, next thing you know, when your game crashes, hey, it's not that big of a deal. You just got that autosave, and thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that autosave. However, despite the hiccups aside, No Man's Sky remained as a game that I ended up getting hooked to. A game that I ended up getting intrigued into. The game I was like going crazy over for like the 2 nights straight. I would end up staying like 2 nights straight, and I would end up sleeping during the day because of this game. And it is a well put together game now that it has the next update, and it is fantastic. And yes, and the big star that I keep forgetting to mention is this game has multiplayer. This game has co-op, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm very happy to see redemption stories like No Man's Sky. And a past example would be Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. And No Man's Sky, it's great to see Hello Games get themselves together. It's great to basically turn this thing that was disappointing many back in 2016, that made the worst of 2016, and they took that and now they turn it into the magnum opus that we've been looking at into the trailers. Alright, so to recap, there's that summary event in Fate Grand Order, and No Man's Sky is now the game that people have been looking forward to in the trailers. So yeah, a lot of great, pleasant news, and it's a breath of fresh air to get all that pleasant news from left and right. So yeah, I guess that's it for our news video, and I hope you guys had a fantastic time. Anyway, that is all, and I will be looking forward to you in the next video. So yeah, let's have some fun until the next video.